before the first word. Close your eyes. Not to sleep. Not to escape. Close them to see. There is a place, not a place, really, more a condition, that exists before your first thought of the morning. Before the alarm. Before the name you call yourself. Before the weight of your history settles back onto your chest like familiar armor. There is a moment, a razor-thin sliver of pure being, that exists in that gap. You have been there. You visit it every night. You just don't remember, because the moment memory arrives, you arrive, and the gap closes. That gap is where we begin. That gap is where everything began. Ancient sages sat with this gap. They didn't merely contemplate it from a safe philosophical distance, the way we might admire a painting through glass. They pressed their entire existence into it. They breathed into it. They listened, with a quality of attention so total, so still, so ferociously awake, that the gap spoke back. What they heard was not words. It was not philosophy. It was not doctrine. It was not commandment. It was vibration. And they called what they heard the Vedas. Shruti, what the universe whispered. The word itself is worth sitting with. Shruti. In Sanskrit, that ancient, architectural language where every syllable is a small universe, Shruti means that which is heard. Not written. Not composed. Not invented. Heard. This is not a minor linguistic detail. This is everything. The entire epistemology, the entire theory of how knowledge arrives, hinges on this single word. The Vedas are not the product of human genius. They are not the creation of particularly clever men who sat in libraries and developed grand theories. The sages who transmitted the Vedas made no such claim. They claimed only this: we listened, and this is what we heard. They called themselves rishis, seers. And the thing they saw, the thing they heard, was not coming from outside themselves, from some distant god on a celestial throne. It was arising from the very fabric of existence. From the hum of the real. Imagine the universe as an impossibly vast instrument. Not a guitar, not a piano, something with no name in any human language, because no human hand has ever plucked its strings. But it plays. It has always been playing. Every atom, every photon, every field of force rippling through the quantum foam, all of it is vibration. All of it is frequency. All of it is, in a sense, sound. The rishis were the ones who learned to hear it. And what they heard, through years, through decades, through lifetimes of radical, unflinching stillness, they gave to us. Not as a text to be read. As a transmission to be received. Shruti. Vid, the root that contains a world. Now, let's go deeper. Let's go to the root. The word Veda comes from the Sanskrit root vid. And vid means to know. But not in the way we usually use that word. When we say, I know, in the modern world, we typically mean, I have stored this information. I can retrieve it on demand. I can pass an examination about it. I can cite the source. That is not what vid means. Vid contains something older and stranger and far more intimate. It is the knowing that happens when the distance between the knower and the known collapses entirely. It is the knowing of the lover, not the scientist, though the greatest scientists have touched it. It is the knowing of the mystic in the moment of revelation. It is the knowing of the child who sees a butterfly and is so transfixed that for one luminous instant, there is no child and no butterfly, only seeing. Vid is knowing as being. Vid is to know something the way your heart knows how to beat. Not through instruction. Not through memory. Through sheer, irreducible, first-person immediacy. This is the knowledge the Vedas are named for. Not information. Gnosis. And here is the extraordinary thing. This root, vid, did not stay contained within Sanskrit. It did not stay contained within India. It crossed oceans and centuries and became something else. Something you use every single day. Vid became the Latin videre, to see, from which we get vision, video, evidence. Vid became the root of the Old English word that turned into wit, to know, to be wise. Vid became, eventually, the foundation of a very short, very profound English verb. To be. Think about that. The same root that gives us Veda, sacred knowledge, also gives us the verb of pure existence. Asterisk is. Was. Were. Be asterisk. What are they telling us? That to know in the deepest sense is the same as to be. That true knowledge is not something you acquire. It is something you are. The single light through 10,000 prisms. But what is it that the Vedas actually teach? What is the content of this primordial vibration? What did the rishis actually hear? At the core. At the absolute bedrock. Beneath all the hymns, all the rituals, all the cosmological poetry, all the philosophical argument, there is one statement. One irreducible claim. Truth is one. That's it. The Rig Veda, the oldest of the Vedas, old enough that we have no reliable way to date its origin, old enough that scholars argue by thousands of years, contains a line so simple it can fit in a single breath. Ekam sad vipra bahuda vedanti. Truth is one, the wise call it by many names. One. Not two. Not a dualism of sacred and profane, of spirit and matter, of God and world. One. A single, all-pervading, self-luminous reality that is the substance, the source, and the substance of the source of everything that exists. The Sanskrit word for this ultimate reality is Brahman. And immediately, modern ears start reaching for familiar boxes. Is this God? Is this the universe? Is this consciousness? Is this energy? Is this some kind of pantheism? No. None of those boxes fit. Every box you try to put Brahman in, Brahman overflows. Because Brahman is not a thing within reality. Brahman is not a being, not even the supreme being. Brahman is beingness itself. The sheer, unqualified isness that underlies all particular things. It is what remains when you subtract every quality, every form, every name, every boundary. It is what remains when you subtract you. And here is the part that stops the mind cold. That remainder, that empty, boundless, silent isness, is not an absence. It is not nothing. It is the most alive, the most luminous, the most intensely present thing imaginable. The rishis called it Sat Chidananda, being consciousness bliss. Not three separate qualities. Three ways of pointing at the same inexhaustible fire. It simply is. It is aware of being. And that awareness is, there is no other word for it, joy. This is not a statement of belief. The rishis were not asking you to believe anything. They were describing an experience available to anyone willing to sit still long enough, to listen deeply enough, to strip away layer after layer of assumption and habitual thought until what remains is what was always already there. One truth. One light. 10,000 prisms, each refracting it into a different color, a different name, a different tradition. The light is the same. The river that named itself. There's something deeply important in the diversity of those names. Something the Vedic seers understood that we, in our age of algorithms and encyclopedias, have almost entirely forgotten. Names are not neutral. Every name you give to something changes your relationship to it. Every name excludes as much as it includes. Every name is, in some sense, a limitation, a fence drawn around an infinity. And so the sages were intentional about multiplying names for the ultimate. They were not confused. They were not theologically careless. They were being, in fact, deeply, brilliantly precise. They understood that if you give truth only one name, only one form, only one story, only one face, you will inevitably begin to mistake the name for the thing. You will worship the finger instead of the moon it is pointing at. And so they gave it 1,000 names. Brahman, the vast. The absolute ground of being. Atman, the innermost self. The witness behind all your thoughts, all your feelings, all your experiences. The one who watches the movie of your life without ever being fully captured by it. Ishvara, the personal face of the infinite. The God who can be loved, prayed to, met in devotion. Shakti, the dynamic, creative, generative power of reality. The universe not as noun but as verb. Not being but becoming. Prana, the life force. The breath beneath the breath. Different names. Different approaches. Different doors into the same room. And the room, when you finally enter it, with whatever key you've been given, by whatever tradition has shaped your bones, is always the same room. Vast. Quiet. Luminous. Home. The sound that made everything. Now let us return to sound. Because this is where it gets strange. Beautifully, vertiginously strange. The Vedic tradition does not merely claim that reality is like sound, or that reality can be described through sound. It claims something far more radical. Reality is sound. Not a Brahman, the universe as primordial vibration. The absolute as pure, self-arising, eternal sound. And the specific sound, the seed sound, the root tone, the sound that contains all other sounds as an oak tree contains all future forests, is Om. Actually, and this is important, it is not Om as in a polite, carefully enunciated syllable you might hear in a yoga studio. It is Aum. 3 sounds, A, U, M, representing the 3 states of consciousness, waking, dreaming, deep sleep. And then the silence that follows the M, the 4th state, Turiya, the witnessing awareness that underlies and contains all 3. 4 movements. A complete map of consciousness encoded in a single syllable. The ancient teachers said, this is not a sound that humans invented. This is a sound that humans discovered. Like a mathematical truth or a law of physics. It was always already vibrating in the substrate of existence. The sages merely learned to hear it, and then, through long practice, to produce it with the instrument of their own body. And here is where the physicist enters, unexpected and a little breathless. Because modern science, not as metaphor, not as poetic analogy, but as rigorous empirical observation, has discovered something that would not have surprised the rishis at all. Everything vibrates. This is not philosophy. This is physics. At the quantum level, the apparent solidity of the world, your hand, this air, the chair beneath you, dissolves into patterns of vibration. Fields of force, oscillating, interfering, creating the appearance of matter through the sheer complexity of their dance. String theory, controversial, mathematically beautiful, not yet fully confirmed, proposes that the fundamental constituents of reality are not particles at all. They are one-dimensional vibrating strings of energy. And the different notes these strings play, the different frequencies of their vibration, give rise to all the different particles, all the different forces, all the different properties of the physical world. The universe as a musical instrument. Not a Brahman. Were the rishis doing physics? No. They were doing something prior to physics. Something that physics, in its most honest and humble moments, is slowly, cautiously beginning to approach from the other direction. The silence between the notes. But here is what no equation can capture. Here is what no particle accelerator can measure. The silence. Any musician will tell you, music is not only in the notes. Music lives in the space between the notes. Remove the silence, and all you have is noise. The Vedic tradition is obsessed, devotedly, systematically obsessed, with the silence that underlies and surrounds all vibration. Because if sound is the manifest face of reality, the Shruti, the heard, then silence is the unmanifest face. The source from which all sounds arise and to which they all return. The rishis did not see silence as the absence of sound. They saw silence as the presence of everything that has not yet become sound. Imagine a still, dark lake at midnight. The surface is perfectly smooth. And in that smooth, dark surface, every fish that has ever leapt, every stone that has ever been thrown, every ripple that will ever cross it, all of it is potential. All of it is there, waiting, coiled in the stillness like a spring. That lake is Brahman. The ripples are the Vedas. The sound you hear is not separate from the silence. It is the silence, moving. This is why the rishis said the Vedas are eternal. Not because some physical book has always existed, but because the vibrations of truth, the fundamental frequencies of reality, are not created by anyone. They were not composed at a particular moment in history. They have always been vibrating in the depths of existence, waiting to be heard by any consciousness still enough to receive them. Shruti is not an event that happened once in ancient India. Shruti is happening right now. In every instant. In every breath. The universe is always already speaking. The only question is, are you listening? The one who listens. And this brings us, inevitably, to you. Not you as in the person with a name and a history and a face you check in the mirror each morning. Not you as in the collection of opinions and memories and desires and fears that you typically mean when you say I. You as in the one who is listening right now. The one behind the thoughts. The one who notices when the mind wanders and, noticing, returns. The one who is present in the gap between one thought and the next. The one who is aware, always, continuously, effortlessly, without being asked, aware of everything that passes through the field of consciousness without itself being a passing thing. Who is that? The Vedas have a name for it. The same name they use for the ultimate ground of being. The same name they use for Brahman, the vast, self-luminous, infinite awareness that underlies all of existence. Atman. The self. Your innermost self. The witness. The seer. And the most radical, most disruptive, most fundamentally world-altering claim in the entire history of human thought is this. Atman is Brahman. The one who is listening, right now, in this moment, behind your thoughts, beneath your personality, prior to your story, that one is not separate from the infinite ground of being. That one is the infinite ground of being. Looking at itself. Through your eyes. the knower and the known. There is a moment in the practice of deep meditation, and you don't have to be a meditator to have glimpsed this. Life itself occasionally delivers it without warning. In moments of great beauty or great shock or great love, there is a moment when the usual subject-object structure of experience simply falls away. The one who is looking and the thing being looked at become, for an instant, one event. There is no longer an I observing the sunset. There is only sunsetness. Pure, vivid, immediate experience with no one standing behind it, holding it at arm's length, narrating it to themselves. And in that moment, that extraordinary, terrifying, utterly ordinary moment, something in you recognizes something. Not as new information. Not as something you've just learned. As something you've always known, which you simply forgot you knew. This is Vid. This is Vedic knowing. This is the root of everything that followed. Everything that the 8 parts of this journey will explore, the cosmic net, the levels of speech, the synchronicities, the quantum entanglements, the mathematical codes hidden in sacred verse, all of it grows from this single seed. The knower and the known are one. Asterisk, and that oneness is not an achievement. It is not something to be built. It is the ground floor of reality that was always already there, waiting beneath the furniture of your thoughts. Asterisk. Why it matters now. You may be wondering, somewhere in the back of your listening mind, why does this matter? Why now? Why should I, a person living in the 21st century with a phone in my pocket and 1,000 urgent tasks, care about what ancient sages heard in the vibrating silence of an Indian forest 3,000 years ago? Because you are drowning. Not individually, perhaps. You may be doing perfectly fine by every external measure. But collectively, culturally, civilizationally, we are drowning in information and starving for knowledge. We have more data than any civilization in history. We have more opinions, more analysis, more content, more noise. We have instant access to the recorded output of every human mind that has ever thought a thought worth preserving. And we are lonely. And we are anxious. And we feel, many of us, that something essential is missing, some quality of depth, some sense that our lives are connected to something larger than the relentless machinery of productivity and consumption. The Vedic insight, this primordial, vibrating truth that the rishis wrested from the silence, is not a nostalgic escape into ancient wisdom. It is not a spiritual consolation prize for people too sensitive for the modern world. It is a diagnosis. The disease is the illusion of separation. The belief, so deeply embedded in our culture that we barely notice it, like fish don't notice water, that you are a separate, isolated, independent entity navigating a world that is fundamentally other than you. A world that does not know you, does not care about you, does not respond to you. The primordial vibration says, this is false. Not as a comforting feeling. As a description of how things actually are. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, become local. You are Brahman, wearing a particular shape for a particular time, exploring its own infinite nature through the adventure of your particular, irreplaceable life. Ekam sad vipra bahuda vedanti. One truth. Many names. And that truth is not somewhere else. Not in a distant galaxy. Not in a long-lost golden age. Not accessible only to those who have renounced the world and spent 40 years in a cave. It is here. It is now. It is this breathing, this hearing, this living. It is the vibration beneath the vibration. The silence beneath the sound. The knowing beneath the knowledge.